The idea for Scream Machine really first came a long time ago. I mean, I started playing the trumpet that way and just loved the sound, and the idea came to my head, like, what would it sound like with like 5 guys doing this? Well, I've always played the trumpet that way, you know, really, with loving playing high and, you know, that real screaming sort of trumpet. I just wanted to do it, and it's been one of those, when I get around to it, must put that band together. About 12 years ago, I did an album called Postcards from Down Under. I did 1 track on that where I did that sound. I loved it. I went, oh, I've got to do more of this. 5 trumpets, funky rhythm section. I went, oh yeah, I've got to do this. And it was only more recently when I did the world's biggest jam, and one of the tracks was Sydney by Night, that track from Postcards from Down Under. Reminded me, jogged my memory, and I said, oh, it's time. This is the time for Scream Machine. I had to think of a name for this album, and my working title to start with was Trumpet Mania. But no, I didn't have enough attitude, so we decided to ask the fans. We had a contest on the net, you know, send in what you think the album should be called, and some of them were quite amazing. They can never be repeated, of course, but they were quite amazing. And Scream Machine, as soon as I saw that, I thought, oh yeah. That's what the trumpet is. It's a scream machine. I didn't actually start on the trumpet, although people think I did. I started on the piano at the age of 6. I didn't take up the trumpet until I was 7. By the time I got to high school, I was playing the saxophone and the double bass and whatever else I could get my hands on. I was just mucking around on instruments like kids often do. You don't want to try different things, just that I kept doing it. And one day I'll finally work out what I want to play. There was a rumour when I was at school, and I mean, I can probably come clean now and let everyone know that it was actually me that started it, because I used to go, I don't know where that came from, and that was that trumpet players were the most incredible kissers. Some people unkindly say that you wouldn't take up the trombone to pick up girls. They're obviously not trombonists. Mate, this rumour went around, and my love life just went up. My social life got a whole lot better. You know, all of a sudden it was very hip to play trumpet. You know? Yeah, it was me. I started the rumour. We're going to win this race, especially things where the only one's in it. I think I like being in control, that's for sure. I like doing things. I don't think of it as control. I think of it as doing things. I mean, I've done quite a bit of motor racing, and I fly. I like boats, you know, boy stuff. I really haven't gotten the gardening thing happening. My wife's really into that, and I take an interest, but you know, it's just not enough machinery involved. I said maybe a ride-on lawnmower or something, I could really get into this, you know, or you know, a motorised rotary hoe, something like that, you know, something you can drive. I've always been into that, and I don't think I'm a control freak, but I do like driving things. You know, I fly, I guess basically because I took it up, apart from just loving it. It's because I know I'm going to spend a lot of time travelling in my life, so I'm going to spend a lot of time sitting in planes. So do I want to spend that much of my life being a passenger or a pilot? I want to be the guy doing it, not watching someone else. And it's kind of like that with everything. I'm pretty much about everything in life. The things that are great, I really live them and enjoy them and make them last as long as possible. And the bits that are a drag, you just get through them, do them, you know. Must admit, it's pretty hard not to find something funny in situations that are a drag. I always find those reasonably humorous. Being stuck in an airport for 8 hours with a delay is kind of, you know, after a while it gets pretty hilarious. Of course, an interview like this, you know, having to come out on the boat and sail around at sunset and everything, it's one of those ones you just try and get through as quickly as you can. been working for about 5 years with a guy named Steve Marshall, who's an electronics genius, designing a new digital trumpet. There's the one that I play on Scream Machine, which is maybe 20 years old now, and a lot's happened since then, and we can do it a whole lot better. The whole technology and electronic side of music is really exciting, and it puts some jazz musicians particularly off because they want things to be acoustic or real or, you know, traditional. But sometimes they miss the point. There's nothing traditional or nothing natural about a trumpet. It's a piece of brass. It's a machine. It's just one that doesn't require batteries, that's all. But it's still a machine. Unless you're singing, you know, you've got some mechanical help to make music. And, you know, it doesn't matter how old an instrument we go to, it's an instrument, mechanical device. And sure, wood sounds great, but you can make incredible sounds with electronics. And I don't see any line between acoustic and electric instruments. This big black line, is it acoustic or is it electronic? They're just instruments. Whether they use silicon chips or wood to make the sound really makes no difference. I think one of the things I love most about Scream Machine is that it's a no-compromise album. You're not sort of going, well, we better have a ballad now, we better have this, we better have that, because, you know, we've got to have a bit of a mixture, or there's no... I mean, there is a ballad on there, but it's because I wanted to do one, because I wanted to do Dizzy Gillespie's Con Alma. Some guys really like practicing. You know, I've known some great players that like to practice all. They just dig it. I hate it.
Really?
I never ever take an instrument out at home, ever, never have. Oh no. Unless I'm playing here and recording an album, but that's a performance. But no practice. Oh, that's the P word. That goes with the W word, work. Oh, I said that easily, didn't I? I should have gone, woo. I can't say it. Okay, mate, wind like Baggery.
Oh, my winch fell off.
The other way might be faster.
That way?
Oh no, that's slower. It just looked awfully slow what you were doing. No, I just like playing. I like performing. You know. Yeah. Everything else is just, you know, waiting to perform. Unless, of course, you can go sailing. Mate, we'll pop it through here, so it tails it for you.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have to hold on to it. Okay, self-tailing winches, mate. Nothing but the best. That's it, now you just wind. So I was 15, and I was really into sailing and doing a lot of racing and started to do quite well. And I thought, oh, I'm going to do this for a profession. I'm going to be a professional sailor. And then, of course, everyone said to me, my parents, everyone said, what about your music? I said, well, I can always play. And there was just this brief moment, whether it was, I don't remember now, whether it was 2 weeks or a day. There was a brief moment where I was going to be a professional sailor and play for a hobby. And then it just dawned on me, I thought, hang on a sec. I can be a professional musician and sail for a hobby. And I've heard people that play for a hobby, and I've seen people that sail for a hobby, and I know which way this should be round. Keep winding, mate.
Keep going.
Yeah, just because we're having this friendly banter doesn't mean I'm not the skipper and you're not the crew. You can be made to walk the plank. That's enough. That's enough. I've always been very at home on stage. My first solo performance I remember very well at the age of 8. I walked onto the stage and everyone was clapping and smiling and wanted me to be there, and it was just a great feeling. I wasn't in trouble for once. And I walked out with the trombone to play this solo, and of course everyone's there clapping and smiling. I mean, I'm an 8-year-old walking out to do a solo, and I could have walked out, fallen over, dropped the trombone, they would have clapped. And I thought, this is all right, I'm going to keep doing this. It just felt like home the first time, and it still does. And I've always had a bit of a feeling, not that my life is a disaster by any means, but I've always had the feeling the one really safe place is stage. I mean, when you get off stage, all sorts of things can and sometimes do go wrong, but on stage everything's fine. It's great to have a sanctuary like that. It's just, I guess it's a little unusual that your sanctuary is something you share with thousands of people, but that's cool. It gets difficult travelling all the time and recording and writing and so on. So, I mean, I'm very portable. I you know, carry gear with me on the road to write. Just take the power book and boom, I've got my charts all there. No more carrying pen and paper anymore and trying to, you know, think of it in your room. I guess technology has changed that because now just with a power book sitting on an aeroplane, I can hear all the instruments. If I write on the page, you know, with the mouse, if I click in a note on oboe, you got the headphones on, you hear an oboe play that note. I mean, the technology is great like that. You can just hear the whole chart take shape bit by bit as you're writing it, which is kind of cool. And unlike what some people think, where technology might get in the way and interfere with your writing or interfere with music, I find it enhances it. I mean, it's a much more live, much more organic process to write, if I can put it that way, using a computer. Because you hear it as you write it. You hear it played as you write it. It's almost like having the band there going, you play this note, you play that note, you know, rather than just writing on a page and saying, I'll have to wait till I hand this out before we hear it back. If I get inspired to write, it's great. It can become a slog if someone says, well, we need a chart for this and you've got to have it done by such and such a date. That can be a drag until you get inspired. I must say, though, that in the end, you always get inspired before you finish because you just can't write if you don't. It's just how long you're going to wait before it happens. No, sorry, I'm at the Port Moresby Travel Lodge that night. Yeah, no, it's a big gig. You know, you got to think of your career. Yeah, okay.
Who's that?
Quincy. Oh. Yeah, keeps calling.
MD?
You know. Yeah, Quincy MD. Oh, you thought I meant the musician? No.
Jack Klugman.
Jack Klugman calls me all the time. Yeah. I'll sit up here, and sometimes when you're compiling something or doing something, there's sort of a waiting time, or you're downloading things or whatever. So that's why they're sitting on the stand there. Pick up the guitar, play the download music. I play download music on guitar. You know, I'm going to get a gig eventually, probably in some sort of large office, you know, for some big company, and I'll just sit in the middle of one of those rooms where all the people at the desk with their computers, and I play the download music while people are downloading things. Anyone download something, you know, that's the gig I'm headed for once I finish all this trumpet nonsense, you know. My first gig was over at the Royal Motor Yacht Club, right opposite. I used to put on my dinner suit, all of 14 years old, jump in the tinny with the outboard, the 7 horsepower Mercury, and away I'd go across the bay. I thought I was James Bond in the boat, you know, with the trumpet and the gig bag on the way to the gig. I must have looked hilarious. Oh yeah, live elevator, but I do that on the bass. You know, you don't play guitar. You don't play guitar in an elevator. You know why, of course, because guitar's horizontal and it's the people in the way, right? Double bass is vertical. You can stand in the corner of the elevator and still get lots of people in. You know, it's a lot of technicalities with this work, but I've been doing it for many years now, and I'm, you know, I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but I'm experienced. The next thing I want to tick off in my life is lunch. It's getting late. Now, it's funny, no matter what stage I'm at or what you've just completed, there's usually that feeling when you finish a project, it's done. But the more I go on, the less I get that feeling, because it's just one thing on a list. And I just always feel like I'm just starting. I feel like this is just a warm-up, like wait till you see what's coming next. And that's what I say to myself as much as to anyone else. I say to myself, wait till you see what you're going to come up with next, though. And There's no sort of momentous, like, these are the things in my life I want to achieve. It's like, no, I've got a list here of stuff that's got to be done today, you know, and this month and this year. And I just keep slogging away at it because I got, you know, and you get ideas and you go, oh, that's a great idea, got to do that. It goes on the list. It's just never going to end, is it? It always feels like that. And I used to long for closure, coming to the end and going, I've done everything now that I had planned. And I've given that up now. I've realised that that's actually not that desirable. It's the journey that's the fun, not arriving. I mean, I don't want to arrive anywhere now. We'd have to get off the boat. It's a matter of getting a really good bass drum sound, you know? I've been thinking of putting an album out called Just the Bass Drum from Scream Machine. Not really. Sometimes when you're mixing, you listen to it and it sounds good, but you go, it needs something. What does that need? And the answer's nearly always the same. It just needs 5 trumpets. The lady who lives next door particularly likes this guitar solo, so I mixed it about 1 or 2 in the morning, and you know, she knows it very well. Now with this, of course, you've got to be really careful to get a great sound, because it's me, you know. In contrast to what I said before, when you listen to this and you say, what does it need? You know, I mean, nothing. Maybe that's not true. I mean, can there possibly be any such thing as too much trumpet, you know? You know, when I listen to that, it still hurts just a little bit. I don't mean my ears, I mean my lips. All together now. Yeah.